I'm Randy McCullough, Deputy Executive Director of the New York State Funeral Directors Association, and today I'm with Scott Henderson, our Government Affairs Assistant. It's been an active couple of months in the world of government affairs since our last update. On September the 8th, Governor Andrew Cuomo signed into law our bill to provide due process to the almost 100 New York State licensed funeral directors who were caught up in the dispute over their national board exam scores. Specifically, our law makes clear that these licensees will be presumed to have passed their NBEs even if the score was invalidated by the International Conference of Funeral Service Examining Boards after they were first licensed. Only if the New York State Department of Health later determines, after notice in an agency hearing, that the licensee committed misconduct in either obtaining their license or entering the practice of funeral directing, will that not apply. The governor's action to make our bill law is a major victory for funeral service. Make no mistake, it rights many wrongs and comes after the bill passed both the Senate and the Assembly in unanimous fashion. Many of our members responded to our call to action that you received from either Scott or I to contact the governor's office to support our bill, and we are grateful to you for taking the time and effort to do so, because it matters. Our thanks also go to bill sponsors, Senator Ken LaValle from Long Island and Assemblyman Jeff Dinowitz from the Bronx, as well as New York State Assembly Health Committee Chair Richard Gottfried for his key support along the way. We are now in contact with the Department of Health as to the exact process for these affected funeral directors to renew their licenses, just as this new law calls for. I also want to make you aware that we are continuing our dedicated and steadfast efforts to expedite the implementation of the New York State electronic death registration system throughout this entire state. While some progress has been made and some have argued that, yes, it is a big state, it is not what it should be, though, given that the law was enacted 5 years ago. You may recall that our legislation to accelerate the pace of implementation passed the Assembly overwhelmingly just this year and was literally on the Senate calendar, ready for passage, when the Town Clerks Association weighed in late with their unexpected opposition. To work around their opposition, we have now amended our bill to simply state that a funeral director will not have to pay the $20 EDRS burial permit fee in cases where the death certificate had to be filed manually using paper. This amended bill is ready to be acted upon should the legislature return to Albany before the end of the year, which at this point is uncertain. We are also pursuing other avenues with the executive branch outside the legislative process to quicken the pace of EDRS implementation. We will not rest until this system, which is being paid for entirely by funeral directors, is fully and successfully implemented in all corners of our state. In addition, we are also researching various subjects for possible legislative action during the 2019 legislative session, which begins this coming January. We'll have more for you on that in upcoming editions.
Thanks, Randy. In state primary election news, Governor Andrew Cuomo easily defeated Cynthia Nixon by over 30 points, advancing to face fellow Democrat Stephanie Miner and Republican Mark Molinaro in November. New York City Public Advocate Tish James beat 3 other candidates to win the Democratic nod for Attorney General, and Kathy Hochul edged out challenger Jumaane Williams for the lieutenant governor post. The September primary elections also saw a number of stunning political defeats of incumbent senators from across the state. In the Bronx, Senator Jeff Klein, a 24-year veteran of the state legislature, felt the first-time political candidate Alessandra Biaggi, and not far away in Brooklyn, 16-year incumbent Senator Martin DeLon lost his primary election to upstart challenger Julia Salazar. In the Syracuse area, 7-term Senator David Valesky was beaten by Syracuse University Administrator Rachel May. Be sure to look for updates on the November general elections in upcoming editions of Albany Update. The last 2 months also saw 2 corruption trials unfold. Elaine Calleros, the former president of SUNY Nano, was convicted on multiple felony charges, including conspiracy and wire fraud. According to the FBI, Calleros conspired with developers to offer inside information as well as alter the RFPs for public works projects that use taxpayer dollars, giving certain developers an upper hand in securing the bids. Just days after the Calleros corruption conviction, former Majority Leader of New York State Senate Dean Skelos and his son Adam were reconvicted of the same 8 charges that led to his 2014 arrest and 2015 conviction. Skelos was again found to have used his political might to secure a $300,000 no-show job for his son Adam through means of threats, extortion, and abusing his position as a state senator.
Thanks, Scott. In our Only second video update for government affairs, we've had corruption stories both times. Albany at its finest, I guess. One more word about the state Senate. The Republicans still maintain control of the upper house, but by the slimmest of margins. If the Democrats keep all their current seats, which is likely, and pick up only one additional seat, they will gain control of the chamber. As of today, polls are showing that Democratic control is almost a certainty. Republicans have controlled the Senate for 77 of the last 79 years. If the Democrats take over, they would control both houses of the legislature and the governor's mansion. But a flip in control will require a new approach from us, and we will see a change in long-held positions on legislation by the Senate. Some positions could see a complete 180-degree turn. While it's still too early to tell what that means for funeral service or a lot of other groups, a more consumer-oriented focus would surely be the result. But whichever party does control the Senate after November, you can be assured that we are up to any and all challenges that will bring, and the opportunities as well. You play whatever hand you're dealt, and we will fully be in the game. Thank you for watching.